Mr. Secretary General, how do you see America's role playing out when it is back in play? And what kind of assurances do you have that America will now stay the course?
Well, first of all, the Paris Agreement would not have been possible if there was not an agreement between, at the time, President Obama and President Xi Jinping that was done before the Paris Agreement and created, I would say, the momentum to make it happen.
Ambassador, how does Afghanistan hope that China can help Afghanistan address the security situation?
I think there are great opportunities in the region that China should have an independent approach to them.
Given the climate situation now, what are your priorities?
Well, I think they have to be three, or they have to be a million. And the first item of those three has to be our climate.
And you've spoken about the need for greater trust among UN member states. Where do you think this trust is needed most?
I think the most important thing is to understand that we are in it together.
Huge strides have also been made for gender parity, especially in the past few years. We have more women now in leadership roles in government, in business, and in civil society. How far along have we come as a world towards gender parity, and how much further do we have to go?
We have much more to do than what we have achieved.
Egypt has pressed the Security Council for some time to lift the arms embargo so that Libya can better defend itself. But it's still a very tricky time. So how likely is that going to happen?
It will happen. Our message is that you cannot depend on militia in Libya. You have a nucleus, you have the Libyan army that you have to build on it.
Mr. Ambassador, let's start with the most recent development. The U.S. has declared that it is recognizing settlement activity in the West Bank as internationally legitimate, effectively reversing 4 decades of U.S. policy. What message does that send?
It's very unfortunate that this is an additional free gift to be given, to the administration of Prime Minister Netanyahu just only a few days before he was indicted.
Peacekeeping is facing a very different climate of conflict now than it has historically. Can you tell us about the new kind of challenges that you and UN peacekeepers are facing on the ground?
Increasingly, we are giving mandates in places where quite often there is no peace to keep.
What makes the top diplomat in the world really, really mad?
Well, mad is probably not the word, but it's division. This is a moment, we look at the COVID, we look at climate change, we need to be humble. The world is fragile. And humility must lead to solidarity and unity. And when I see division, I feel really very sorry, and to be honest, very angry.